On Relationships with Riana Milne. How are you? It's Sunday, June 4th, and as usual at 7:30, here I am. I am here to teach you how to be and attract an emotionally healthy, evolved partner for the relationship of your dreams and to help you have a life that you love and are passionate about. I'm Riana Milne. I'm a certified life, love, dating, relationship coach, a licensed mental health counselor, a certified addictions professional, and a #1 best-selling author of 2 books, Live and Love Beyond Your Dreams. My practice of 18 years is called Therapy by the Sea, and it's located in Delray Beach, Florida. However, I do coach around the world by Skype. I help singles who are looking for emotionally healthy, evolved love, and couples who want to fix toxic love that's been happening in their relationships. And I just finished a TV docuseries show, myself with 4 other coaches, called Radical Dating, Finding Lasting Love Over 40. And my amazing client is Scott, who did phenomenal on the show and is with his new life partner of 6 months now. So that, we got word, is coming out in September, and soon I will have the information on which channel has picked us up. So we're very excited to see that emerge. Tonight's topic is a part 2 of the topic that I did before, called Energy Vampires, how to protect yourself from someone zapping your light. And this is really an important topic because my clients are faced with this a lot when they come in and when they're involved with a relationship that can be toxic or dysfunctional. Usually one or both are zapping the other partner's energy. So how does this happen? Why does it happen? And how do we fix it? That's all really important. So again, the feeling of being drained energy-wise is just completely feeling depleted, exhausted, and it's usually around a particular person for no apparent reason. The energy vampire is a person who feeds off your energy on a regular basis. So they're dealing with some toxic behavior patterns within themselves, and they happen to love your energy. So they attract to you. It's really done based in scientific research. And one of the best authors and coaches I've heard and love her material, and I'll be sharing some of that tonight, is Nikki Gratrix, Gratrix, where she goes into the biology and neurology of this situation. So it's really worth checking her out. Tell her Riana sent you over. So these people usually, again, lack empathy, sensitivity, emotional maturity, and a result of their childhood trauma, wounds, and pain, they're often very insecure and feel empty inside. So they really attach and are attracted to those who have amazing light, very happy people, and they start preying on the vitality of this happy-go-lucky person. And this could be anyone. It doesn't have to be a love partner. It could be a friend, a family member, a parent, a child, or someone that you work with. So keep your eye out and keep your boundaries strong. And again, they have this unconscious desire to resolve a deeper problem within their own psyche, within their own selves. And they perceive you to be the solution to all their problems. So let's go into finishing that list I started with last week, which is some subtle energy stealing behaviors that could be happening to you. And the first 3 that I shared was people who guilt trip you, chronic complainers was number 2, and the third is that's called broken friends, but this is someone that treats you like their therapist and they're always whining or coming to you with problems. Instead of having a normal conversation, it's always asking for advice. So let's get into number 4, and this is the anger addicts. Boy, this one's a really toxic one to have to be involved with. They have chronic unresolved anger, which drains us through their intimidation or bullying. It's that feeling of walking on eggshells. You don't know who you're going to come home to. Are they going to be nice today? Are they going to be bitching and moaning today? Or are they going to be complaining about something you did, you wore? The way that you smile. Anything could get them upset, and an irrational temper outburst can happen. Very often it could be passive aggressive, where it's a silent treatment or they withdraw their love. But normally this person as a child had rageaholic parents, a very angry, demonstrative mother or father. and that their chronic pain has been thrust outward. So whenever they're uncertain, scared, or unsure, they usually attack you with anger, which really sucks, literally, like a vampire. Okay, number 5, chronic problem focusers. So these suck the joy out of you by constantly discussing all their pressing problems and issues that they've had to deal with. They may feel that they're always lacking support, or life isn't fair, or it's not fun. And these are people that probably had parents that grew up in very hard times. Those of us baby boomers had parents who grew up with the Depression. So a lot of times they said there was no time for fun. You know, we had to work hard, and there was no money to go out and have fun. So they often lack self-care or joy, just pure joy. And work ethic is everything to them. Number 6 is the perfectionistic and those who criticize. And they constantly drain us by deflating our ego. Nothing is good enough. Nothing looks right or feels right. So they really erode our self-worth with criticism. And that makes us feel not worthy or not good enough or competent. And usually these adults have been mostly criticized, excessively criticized by their parents or a parent. Also, it's a way to bring a confident person down. If the one is perceived to have low self-esteem, they may constantly criticize you, even though you have high self-esteem, to bring you down to their level, which I call the crab theory. And if you've ever seen a bunch of Baltimore crabs in a barrel, one tries to get out, and the other ones just grab them and bring them right down to their level. So I always think of that in the crab theory. If someone's always criticizing you and putting down, probably because they don't feel good enough about themselves in their life. So they're trying to bring you down to their level. And they may cause an incident also to bring you down to their level. So we have to be extremely careful with people like this. Number 7 is drama kings and queens. And they exhaust their energy by always wanting attention. Like, they really dress bizarre, they act bizarre, there's intense emotion around everything. Everything's a catastrophe. It's always exaggerated, like a life or death situation. And parents of drama queens usually had low intimacy growing up from their parents, and that caused some drama. Or there was a very dramatic parent interaction, you know, a lot of fighting or intense love, then hate. So there was a lot of cheap drama, is what I call it, growing up in the household. Number 8, dependent personality types. Hi, Ryan. How are you, sweetheart? My nephew just joined on. Love you. Okay, dependent personality types. These people won't take responsibility for managing their parts of their own life. And that's anything from their finances or, everything falls onto you. And it becomes very draining for you always to be responsible. It almost feels like raising a child. And this is where parents usually fail to support their growth and the belief in themselves, not helping to make the child competent or confident to go out and challenge the world, or even encourage independent decision making. So sometimes when parents are really strict, I see this happening a lot with girls where they try and hold them back to, quote, keep them safe. That's a real problem, because then your daughters or sons will not be ready to go out and face the world as they need to. So that's really important. Needy types. Well, these kinds can't be alone. They drain you by sticking to you to the point of you feeling really suffocated. And then they make you feel guilty if you leave them for some reason. That could be for a small business trip, but they have this real severe panic like you're abandoning them. And it's not an act, unfortunately, but they really, really overreact to feeling absent. And this type was usually very emotionally abandoned as a child and neglected by their parents. And they never developed strong sense of independence or boundaries or feeling safe and confident to be alone by themselves. So they're the needy types, dependent personality types. The needy ones, again, can't be alone, and the dependent ones don't want to take responsibility for managing their own life. So anything from their finances, Those are the ones that want you to do everything. They don't know how to do it. Show me, blah, blah, blah. They just aren't capable, and they keep depending on you to do everything. The number 10 is achievers and overly competitive types, and they drain your energy by making you feel worthless because they always want to be right. So they resist having fun with you because they're not able to celebrate you and your real accomplishments because they have to be feeling better than you. That's that competitive spirit. And they also make toxic comments to bring you down again to their level or to deflate your sense of confidence. So their own self-worth is dependent on excessive doing and achieving in life. And that's often due from parents who really valued the work ethic. I grew up with a mother who was very much valued the work ethic, and I am definitely an achiever, type A personality type. So I consciously am aware to schedule in fun, which is through my vacations and my weekends. So, you know, if you are an achiever, you probably are very successful in life and love what you do. However, be sure that you're giving enough time to your partner and your family and your children by scheduling that in and sharing that valuable time together. Helpers. On the surface, they're there for you. They're helping you to solve problems. They do things, but then it says it comes at a price. So this kind of giving has strings attached because they feel it's really a method of control. And this kind of behavior drains you because of the obligation you always feel. Helpers usually had conditionally loving parents who obligated them in return for their love, and vice versa. So, you know, in order to receive love, you always had to feel like you're overdoing or helping out so that you can have love. This is often found, let's say there's a single mother household with several children, and the older child becomes the helper to help mom raise the kids because she's not home or is working a lot of jobs. And, you know, that's how they gain their love from their parent, by helping out, raising the other children. Chronic worriers can wear us out just from their own stress. If they project their forecasts of this gloom and doom and negativity onto our lives, and they can just drain us with this constant need for reassurance that the world is really okay. So chronic worriers have parents who never let them feel safe, and they pass this on to their children. So their parents were always a worry wart. They wouldn't let them go out to play. They're always holding them back in some way to make sure that they're not growing or leaving them because mom or dad need them more at home. So those are the chronic worriers. The passive-aggressive type is number 14. And this type hates conflict, but are angry, but express it in different covert ways. So they constantly let you down, and it looks unintentional and unavoidable, things that they do. However, passive-aggressive were brought up in families where it was unsafe to express their anger. So they usually had a mom or dad that was severely punishing, so they didn't say anything. And instead, you know, they did something to act out about the parent, or they did something sneaky that they wanted to get away with it, kind of like quietly punishing the parents. And they kind of picked this up as a habit. And so they drain you over time by letting you down in hurtful ways. And when they shut down, sometimes the passive-aggressive, I've seen that I work with, won't talk for 2-3 days a week to the partner, barely existing in the house. And in their way, this is a form of punishing you. So it's very uncomfortable and is very much an energy drainer. And in their way, they're communicating you're not important and you should be punished. Not fun. A huge energy drainer there. Gossips. They only talk about the negativity in life and aspects of failure in other people, or what they perceive to be failures, in order to put themselves up on a bigger pedestal and feel better about themselves. They do it also to be part of an in crowd or being in the know about a topic or a situation. And these people didn't develop enough self-esteem to feel secure as they are within themselves due to various childhood experiences in school and at home. And if you find yourself around the gossip, the best thing to do is just say, you know, I don't have the facts, so guys, I gotta go. I'd rather not talk about somebody that, you know, I don't have the facts on. And just remove yourself from the discussion. People pleasers. Now, I have a lot of people pleasers that I work with. The majority tend to be women. And they're overly nice people, really lovely people. But they find it hard to be honest or direct and can't say no. And they really need to set bigger, stronger boundaries. So we work on that together. And it's very draining to their partner or friends because they feel that they always have to reciprocate. And unable to say no is a form of low self-esteem. And that results from parents who are overly critical or neglectful. So people pleasers can also drain you when they overreact by just feeling super sensitive to honest feedback. And again, they just need to build healthier boundaries and be able to say no and break off any friendships that are negative. So 17 is constant talkers. These type talk at you nonstop without ever asking about how you were doing or what's your opinion on something. And that can be very draining. Sometimes these people are very lonely, but really I think the majority of them have not developed the social skills that they need, and the parents were not good role models. And remember, in communication, it should be an ebb and a flow. You talk, he talks. You talk, he talks. It should be a real balance. So as you're in communication, hey Jamie just signed on. As you're in communication, make sure it's a balance of give and take. And if you're talking about something, be sure to ask about their opinion on something too. Okay, kind of really monitor your communication skills, especially in business situations. You want to ask who they are and what their business is and how you could work together. So be careful that you're not one of the constant talkers. Contrarians. This is someone's described as kind of a geek. They do value knowledge and trades off knowing things. So they have to often debate you or say the opposite to your belief, no matter what your position is, because they're gaining energy from being right all the time. And this trait can often run in families. And boy, do I know a couple people like that. I was married to one. So always being right, I called it pontificating. You know, I always used to sit, I felt like I was being lectured to because I always had to be right. It was exhausting. So I totally get that energy zapper. It's always good to value other people's opinions. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but certainly everyone has their own opinion. And most people don't enjoy a debate. So let them have their opinion and, respect that and let it go. You know, a lot of times I just tell my couples, just say, we're going to agree to disagree on this one, hon, okay? And just totally let it go. Narcissist is number 19, and there's one more after that. There's 20. Narcissist is some of the most serious and abusive person to be in a relationship with. It's almost as equally dangerous as the physical and sexual abusive person. And I want to put up there emotionally and verbally abusive as well. These people were rejected emotionally from the parents since birth. And there was unconscious rage against the gender that raised them. So if there's a little boy who is emotionally rejected, very often he will be have rage against his wife or his woman he's involved with. And again, here's the triggers coming out from childhood traumas, again, which we call negative adverse childhood events, or ACEs. And this is what I specialize in. I help people identify what their childhood triggers and traumas were and how they trigger them as adults in their adult love relationships. So some of these 20 could come out all based on how you were raised from your mother or your father. And again, all my tapes in YouTube under Riana Milne is my channel. Since January, I've been talking about this. So there's a lot of things, especially the first month of January, about childhood trauma and how they come out in negativity in your adult love relationships. So make sure you see those. And of course, if I can help you with that, that's when I ask you, do reach out to me on my website, rianamilne.com. There's a pop-up there, and just apply for a life and love transformation strategy session. It's a $500 value, and I meet with you on Skype, and we go over what we think your traumas are and to see if I can help you. So it's really important that you get this knowledge, because once you get it, it changes your life for the rest of your life. And it's almost like a programming of your mind. It's also making the unconscious conscious, so you understand what the traumas were, how they trigger you as an adult, and how we end them. So it is a 6-month process. It's a 6-month coaching program that I do, and this is my specialty area. And I'm extremely successful with my clients. I love and adore them, and the changes are absolutely incredible and miraculous. And if you're curious to see some of those transformations, just go and read my testimonials online. Very beautiful tributes to the work that we did together. And it is a reprogramming and a reparenting of the trauma and pain that you would have gone through as a younger child. So let's go on to this narcissist. I'm sure we all know some people like this. Okay, so as an adult, they exhibit traits of ACOAs, adult child of an alcoholic, or the children of 10 traumas, that I do describe again in my January Facebook Lives and in other videos on my YouTube channel. So check that out, and if you've missed some of those, I really go extensively into that. They often seem like they have come from sexual or physical abuse, but often none of that took place in their history. It could have, though. It could have. So at first it comes off invisible, but it's a serious form of emotional abuse that, in this report, they call energy murder. That's how bad it is. Narcissists are expert manipulators. To me, that's the biggest definition right there. And they're not capable of real love. They can verbally say all the right things. They can even appear to do all the right things for a while. But then usually, through time and context, their true motives become clear. And other people that they attach to are part of their ego. So they are feeling empty or not good enough, so they attach to someone who feels amazing about their life, and that way that raises their ego and self-esteem, so that they self-project an image of more grandiosity. So at heart, though, they feel shame and worthlessness, and they drive to maintain this grandiose self-image in their career, in their family, and with their romantic partner. So romantic partners or children and family members tend to be trophies to them, or they could be used for sex or some other service that they are benefiting from. And they like to maintain this image of sexual prowess, and also I'm the happy family man, or I'm the supportive partner. But behind closed doors, that's often rarely not true. Their narcissists are attracted to careers that provide status for them, or power, or help prop them up in their self-image. The true lack of love is revealed when the other person feels that they can no longer serve them, or becomes a threat to their well-being. Now, you combine that with someone that has an abandonment issue. If the more self-confident person wants to leave the relationship, then that narcissist will tend to freak out, okay, and do something like the crab theory to bring that confident one down to their level. So heartless behavior is often demonstrated by how quickly either they try to replace that partner, so they'll go out and date right away. They'll be on the websites, the online sites the very next day, showing pictures to their ex-partner or their family about girls they've met, guys they've met, just to, quote, brag. But that's like a really severe, it's a really severe demonstration of how low the self-esteem is. So this is also the personality type that will enter into an affair if, you know, and treat other people ruthlessly if they feel that they're going to be left or abandoned, or that person, their partner, their wife or husband, is not serving them well enough, and then they'll just decide to have an affair, you know, without any consequences. So this is along the line of sociopath and psychopathy. They don't like to take responsibility for their own behavior. They constantly lie, manipulate, try to schmooze people to get what they want and need, and they can be very dangerous. So you need to cut them off without contact whenever possible. Maybe I'll do a whole section on these people. It's worthy of the time for Facebook Live. Crowds. Crowds can also zap your energy too, because it's extremely draining if you figure look at airports or large shopping malls. I don't like shopping malls. To me, it's like it's too big, too many stores. I don't like the big stores. I tend to like the smaller stores. But it's just that it's always busy or a lot of negativity is around you. So that can be a form of draining too. So when you've heard these 20 from this list, if you missed some, go back and hear the rest of the tape and look at part 1 from last Sunday. You may feel that you have some within you, and don't panic. This can be worked out. That's why my Life Love Transformation for singles and couples exists. That's what I do in my coaching. And like I said, it takes 6 months where I guide you and I even challenge you in staying totally conscious with your thoughts, words, and deeds, and help you get out of your negative thinking and the obsessive thoughts that might have occurred due to your upbringing, which I call ruminating. Or negative false assumptions. That's a big one with my clients that I work on a lot, that they're afraid that things aren't going well, or they might be doing something to sabotage your relationship with your partner. And when I hear the stories, I'm like, I don't see anything wrong here, but it's that fear that we keep dealing with. And once you become aware of the childhood triggers that you're dealing with, you then consciously can fix them. They may well up from time to time, certainly not controlling you like they did before. But once they well up, my clients have a meditation program, 15 minutes a day, where I teach what they have to think about in a step-by-step order to calm that rumination, those negative assumptions. And I always say, is it based in fact? If you have facts, that's one thing. If you don't have facts, then we don't jump to an assumption. So again, childhood triggers are the fears coming from not feeling good enough. And that's when that panic may come up. Remember, there's a learning curve to ending the childhood trauma response in the body, in the brain. And it takes a learning curve of 6 months. But we definitely can break the toxic, dysfunctional habits, the thoughts, the negative thoughts that tend to keep you in the dark side of life and bring you into the positive side and live into the light. And we call that method capping. And we do a lot of that in my program. So remember, as adults, we were overcoming a lot of these negative programmings that happened to us as children. We were innocent as children. We can't help it, but we can help it as an adult, and we can learn what to do differently. So in love relationships, we bring negative childhood traumas or schemas into our communication and behavior patterns with our partner. So those who get angry easily or moody or passive aggressive, controlling or jealous, these again are just a few examples of the behaviors coming from the destructive childhood experience. So once you, if you're single and you're out there dating, totally understand what to do to attract a person and get rid of this negative thought process, or as a couple, you understand the toxic patterns that come from each of you that happened when you were growing up, you will learn exactly what to do to change them. And this is where the total transformation comes in, and you'll have a life that you love and are passionate about, and you'll have the love that you dream of. You'll be more confident, optimistic, and inspirational. I teach you what's called the Watch Me positive mindset for success in both life and love. And no matter what difficulty happens to you in life, because let's face it, shit happens, okay? So no matter how difficult something is that you go through, man, with this mindset, you just keep going through. You just keep moving forward. And you have this ability for this keen focus just to keep going and living the life that you desire. So my coaching for singles and couples bring in many of these educational concepts for success in life, love, and relationships, and you'll end up feeling very positive and grateful about your life every day. So if I can help you with the topic we talked about tonight, you know, if you have an energy vampire in your life, or you think you feel guilty of doing any of the 20 things, and sometimes we all can, because none of us are perfect. And remember, about 90% of adults in America, now these research tests were done in America, so I can't speak for adults all over the world, but 90% of people have adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, or 10 of the traumas I described in the ACOA personality. So we all have a little bit of work to do. It's important that you identify what traumas you had when you grow up and learn how to fix them so that you have a peaceful, stress-free life. And again, just go on my website, rianamilne.com. There's a pop-up window that comes up. Just apply for this free Life and Love Transformation Strategy session. I will work with you for an hour on Skype. It's worth $500. And just in this first session alone, I really help people identify, you know, part of their traumas and what we would need to work with if we move forward in a coaching program. So is there any questions I can answer for anybody now? And if you're too shy to ask any on a live forum, I totally understand. Reach out to me by email, rianamilne@gmail.com. Do be sure to make sure you download my app. It's free. It's called My Relationship Coach. And share this video with anyone that you think this could help, anyone that you know is suffering from childhood trauma and you think could help. This video could help. Please share that. And once you're on YouTube, please like the videos that you watch and subscribe so you don't miss any of them coming your way. And that ends our series for tonight, and I wish you a very blessed and happy, successful, and loving week. Thanks. Bye-bye.